Hey, this is Bon Diesel, and today I want to make a sort of quick video talking about the information we got about the Division 2 Season Pass and monetization. Start off with the info and then my thoughts, and you can leave then if you want. First, we'll jump right into and start off with what we learned about the Year 1 episodes. We have 3 DLC episodes coming that will include additional narrative, 2 story missions each, more PvP modes, and more. Episode 1 goes to the outskirts of DC, Episode 2 goes to the Pentagon, and Episode 3 wraps up the Year 1 story and prepares for further adventures. Tidal Basin will be the final stronghold, and it will be released after launch, being considered the top challenge in PvE until the raid. The first raid will be coming after launch, and most details are being withheld, except that it will be available to everyone worldwide at the same time. 3 more specializations will be released, with 1 during each DLC, and the new exotics, weapons, gear, and other stuff will be released with and between the DLCs. Next, we have the Year 1 Season Pass details. We will get access to DLC activities 7 days early and get instant access to new specializations as they release. Season Pass holders will get 8 classified assignments, which will explain what happened in DC narratively, and will reward players with special charms for their backpack. The Season Pass will also give 1 extra bounty per week, which is an expansion on the HVT system, and extra projects at the base of operations every day. And now for the big one, monetization and how it'll work in Division 2. The first method of monetization will be the Year 1 Season Pass, which I've already talked about what it gives you. The second method of monetization will be direct cosmetic purchases and limited time cosmetic events, where you can purchase caches if you wish, but you can also earn them for free. So here's the difference. There will be always a standard apparel cache that you can earn. They cannot be purchased. They can have duplicates, and they will be earned simply by playing the game. The standard apparel cache items will appear in the store to buy directly if you don't want to have to depend on the standard cache. The other type of cache is the apparel event cache, which will be available during time-limited events to earn for free or to purchase. These caches will have a limited number of items. The number of items will be listed and told to everyone. They will not have duplicates. And after the event, you'll be able to buy the items that were in them directly if you didn't earn the ones you wanted. And there it is. So there's the facts as I know them. And if that's all you wanted, then thank you for listening, and you are welcome to head out. If you want my thoughts on some of this stuff and the rambling part of the video to begin, well, let's hang out and let's start up with the Year 1 DLCs and other additions. So the episodes sound really cool. The DC Outskirts, I'm guessing is maybe going to be some kind of like random mission generator, or maybe some kind of other mode or something like that. I don't think it's going to be a survival type of thing. I don't think it's going to be an underground type of thing. And so I'm kind of curious. I don't really know. It could be kind of a free roam thing. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. The Pentagon is super interesting to me, and I highly suspect is going to be some kind of randomly generated, kind of basically an evolution of underground, and I think that's great. I think that's perfect. If the Pentagon is like almost like a giant catacombs, it's got these multiple layers of buildings. I believe if it's not currently, at one point it was considered the largest office building in the world, and it's not very tall, but it's gigantic. It has many offices, and for the most part you can only speculate to how far underground this facility goes, and so on and so forth. And then finally, the third episode that we're going to be getting is it sounds like it's gonna be kind of a story wrap-up type of thing. And the big thing that I've seen people like Deep Fried Dave and others mention is that the agent in the art for the third episode is wearing a mask, so people are predicting it has something to do with the DZ. Some are predicting it has something to do with some evolution of the survival mode, and I'm gonna go with the survival thought. The second thing here, the Tidal Basin Stronghold, which unlocks World Tier 5. There's a little controversy about that right now. People, thinking that they're going to blow through all the content in the first day or two and then have to sit at World Tier 4 and not be able to actually grind for World Tier 5 or in-game gear. I think the number of people that's going to affect is pretty small, because I am under the impression that this World Tier 5 is going to unlock within a week or two. I don't really have any direct sources on that, but I know that this is coming before the raid, and I'm under the impression the raid is coming relatively quickly after release. So I imagine this World Tier 5 will be even faster. But we'll have to wait and see. I see some people getting kind of upset about it. I get it, I guess. But I think that maybe we should wait to see how things actually work out before we freak out too much. The raid, not much to say about it, and other than now we know that it's a one release for everybody. So just be prepared for the people who are going to be upset, probably Americans more than likely, because that means that it very well may start up at 2 or 3 in the morning. And if anyone's going for a world's first, for some of us in the States, it may be a little rough. But again, let's wait and see how that works out. The 3 new specializations are exciting. I think we were all kind of expecting this. It had been confirmed in some ways. The nice little hint that we got both in the trailer, which I'll try to show some footage here, and from Hamish, is something about mini, which for a lot of us makes us think of a minigun, which is essentially a tiny handheld Gatling gun. You can look them up. I think some people think they're these big giant things like what the guy in Metal Gear Solid had. There's actually little itty bitty ones. If you think Predator, look up minigun and Predator the movie, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And then we had some talk of the new exotics gear and so on that are going to come out, not just during DLCs, but also between them. So it sounds like we're going to have some exotics available, obviously a bunch of gear and brand sets. I'm really hoping this means that, we'll obviously be getting more exotics, hopefully new weapons in general, just high end, hopefully maybe even some new brand sets. And then we know that there's gear sets coming, but there's been no talk about them yet. So I assume those will start working their way in as well. So the year 1 DLCs and other additions, I think it's going to be great. Obviously, there may need to be some adjustment here and there. We'll have to see about the things like the World Tier 5 and how long it's going to take for Tidal Basin to get released. But these strongholds seem like they're going to be really fun, and they seem really proud of them and how they're going to be the main challenge until the raid comes out. So then we had some season pass talk. Honestly, I think they gave all the answers that we needed. The one big detail they gave was that the specializations will unlock immediately for people with the season pass, but it makes it sound like people who don't have the season pass will still get access to the specializations, but they may have to earn them in some capacity. So, essentially everyone has access at the same time. It's just for some, it's going to be easier. I don't think that's a perfect system, but I think it's pretty good, and I think it's acceptable. We also got the details about other stuff, things that people have really been worried about. I think maybe a little too worried, but I don't blame them to a point. It seems like the big thing with the additional activities comes to this 8 classified assignments, the extra bounty per week, and the extra tasks to do daily for the base of operations. The big thing here to me is the classified assignments. It basically sounds like it's just extra narrative content that gives some cosmetic bonuses and upgrades, which I think is great. They really stuck with a theme of not giving people a power bonus for paying more money, which is basically essential. And on that note, we talk about monetization. Okay, so loot crates suck. I think we can all agree with that. I think that that's something I've tried to be really obvious about how I feel, even though some may, not care or believe me, but I still think that this system is as good as we really could have hoped for. And I think that it's a good evolution of what we saw in Division 1. These standard caches, they have duplicates, which is super annoying, but you can't even buy them the way that you could encrypted caches, which also had duplicates. Now these event caches, we need to know how long the events last, how easy it is to earn these things for free. But the big thing about the event caches is if you get 2 items per cache and there's 40 items, then you need 20 caches to get everything. And so, you can either earn 20 or you can earn 10 and buy 10 or whatever, or you can earn as many for free as you want. And then at the end of the event, the items will all be in the store. So the ones you didn't get, you can now just buy. So say there is a helmet you really wanted and you don't want to have to buy the caches during the event, you'll just earn some for free. And then after the event, if there was something you really wanted, you can pay a couple bucks. Now, the really important thing is going to be that cost. How much are these items going to cost? You know, that's all going to be important information, and it needs to be fair. Now, what I'm going to assume is it seems like in a lot of ways they're trying to be fair with this. They're trying to do the right thing as much as they can or are allowed or whatever it is. And I just really hope they knock this whole thing out of the park, in my opinion, by, you know, pricing these things the right way. Overall, I feel like all this news should relax a lot of people, but we all kind of know that everyone has their own take, and you know, there's always a different outlook on all of these things. For me, I'm super cautiously optimistic. Obviously, I'm a huge fanboy. I'm gonna like almost anything they throw at us, but I've been hurt before, and I do want to be, you know, careful. I really, more than anything, just really hope that the game releases smoothly, that they fix anything that pops up, and there's nothing huge and super game breaking, and then they can spend a lot of their time worrying about balance in both PvE and PvP, making sure they maybe adjust any of these cache things or any of this monetization stuff that may, you know, we'll have to see how it releases, and that they just get to really work hard and push towards this, all this crazy content they've been telling us about. I don't blame people for still being, you know, cautious about this whole thing, but I think at some point most people can admit that, at least on paper, more so than we've seen before with a lot of games, it seems like things are going pretty well. And with that, that's basically what I have for you. If you like the video and you want to see more, please subscribe, like, and comment down below. You can find me on Twitch, where I stream multiple times a week, and on Twitter, both at Bond Diesel. You can find links to a bunch of other cool stuff and those two things down in the description below. And that's it. So, until next time.